Good morning, VitaSoul community. Happy Monday to you all. Hopefully you're more organised than I am this morning. A little bit of a crazy morning this morning. We've got building going on next door, so if it gets noisy, I do apologise, and hopefully the drilling won't start whilst we're talking this morning. Morning, Kim. Thank you for joining. I know some of you are working today, so hopefully you will catch up a little bit later. Just while we're waiting for everyone to join. Good morning, Tanya. Just making sure you've all had your VitaSoul this morning. I'm just finishing mine, and here we go. It doesn't look very pretty, but it actually tastes pretty good. This is a blend of all three, so that I'm all set for the day. And it stops me from having my second cup of coffee this morning. So this morning, Amy, this morning I thought it would be really good to talk about the difference between synthetic vitamins and natural vitamins, because I do see a lot of people, just general people, taking vitamin supplements and popping them like they're lollies, and also a lot of clinics stocking synthetic vitamins as well. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the potential side effects and dangers of synthetic vitamins. And for those of you that have done training with me and know me, I'm actually really quite anti-synthetic vitamins. Sorry, Amy, I just read your comment, and I will get back to you on that. For those of you that do take synthetic vitamins, hopefully you won't after this morning, unless you do have a specific reason to from a medical practitioner. But I will be talking to you about why I personally am quite anti them, and also why at VitaSoul we are all about natural nutrition. Question from Amy: if you put all three in, is it still 2 teaspoons of each? Well, yes, but what we do tend to say is 1 heaped teaspoon, which really is 2 flat teaspoons. So yes, unless you do have gut issues and you get bloating, and if you're mixing Infinity and Purity to start with, then we would say just do 1 very small teaspoon, which would be, well, let's say half a teaspoon, so I don't confuse you. So half the dose, basically. Hopefully that didn't confuse you. So 2 teaspoons of each, or 1 heaped teaspoon, which is the same, or half that if you do tend to get bloating, because it will help with rebalancing the gut and then build up to the normal dose. Hopefully I didn't confuse you there and that made sense. If I did confuse you, let me know and we'll clarify. So at VitaSoul, we're all about natural nutrition. I'm passionate about supporting internal health and well-being as naturally as possible. So when we're supporting nutrients, we want to do it the way Mother Nature intended. So doing it naturally through whole foods. And the best way to get your nutrition is through good, healthy food, first and foremost. So if everyone had an absolutely perfect diet, then that would be fantastic. That would be our ultimate aim. But we know with the busy lifestyles, we know with processed foods that we don't all necessarily have the perfect diet. 4 out of 5 Australians are not eating enough fruit and vegetables. And we do know that having a plant-based diet, that doesn't necessarily mean vegan or vegetarian, but it means eating the majority of your food that is plant-based. So having at least 2 pieces of fruit every day, having, I say, around 7 serves at least of vegetables a day. That would be at least 2 for breakfast, lunch and dinner. So yes, if you don't have vegetables at breakfast, then make sure you're getting your VitaSoul in. If we're not getting that, we are simply not getting enough phytonutrients into our diet that we need for important biochemical reactions within the body. We also need fiber from the diet through fruit and veg, and that fiber is very, very important for skin health. We need fiber to help to treat acne skin, to clear out toxins, to help balance hormones for a healthy gut. And we also know that certain fibers are important for prebiotics, which help with healthy gut flora, but also help with the cell integrity of the gut as well. So fruit and vegetables are really, really, really important, which is what we're all about at Vitasol, and we're also all about gut health. So we supply the nutrients in our products to support a healthy gut. It's going to help with the health of the enterocyte cell, which is the cells of the gut, which are first and foremost the most important things to treat, because that will also help to reduce inflammation, and it will help to balance out gut flora as well. So the prebiotics will help with that as well in Vitasol. But we're also about purity, so providing nutrients as pure as possible. So any nutrients that we extract, such as the grapeseed, are extracted via a water process so that we don't lose any of the valuable nutrients in the extraction process. And any things like vitamins or minerals, we're using the whole nutrient. We don't extract new synthetic vitamins. So we are getting the nutrients as they would be found in Mother Nature via sea buckthorn, for instance, with our vitamin C, or acerola cherry. Now, the importance of this is that nutrients come as a package. So you would never find an isolated nutrient in, for instance, a strawberry. You wouldn't just find vitamin C. You find flavonoids, you find a variety of different bioactives which are important for the bioavailability and the absorption of that nutrient. Tomatoes, for instance, vitamin C, lycopene, and they have a variety of different nutrients. These nutrients all work together for maximum absorption, and they have other functions within the body. They can down-regulate inflammatory pathways. They can act as anti-inflammatories. They can act as antihistamines, for instance, different nutrients in the body. So it's really important to not isolate nutrients and take them out of the environment of Mother Nature and take them on their own, unless there is clinical evidence or a medical reason for doing so. Saying that, the studies time and time again show that the best way to get your nutrients is via a healthy diet. We know that essential fatty acids, for instance, we get better results when we take essential fats through whole foods, through the diet, particularly through fish, oily fish. So if we're getting 2 to 3 serves of oily fish a week, plus we're eating things like flax seeds and walnuts, we really should be getting enough essential fats in the diet, and we absorb them better. The studies clearly show that we get way better results by eating a healthy diet to protect us from disease within the body than by taking a synthetic nutrient. Now, it's no surprise really, because obviously if we're taking synthetic vitamins and we're not having a healthy diet that does have prebiotic fiber, that does have all the bioactives, to me it makes perfect sense that you wouldn't get the same results. But saying that, the general population and the amount of patients that I see that really want to go eating what they want and then popping a synthetic vitamin continues to astound me. And I think it can be the same in skincare. We want to eat what we want, use a nice cream on the face, and then pop a pill and then hope to get the very best results. But in order to get the very best results, we really need to look at a healthy diet, minimize the processed food. We now know that processed food not only does potentially shorten our lifespan. A new study came out in the last week. That's no surprise, is it? But we also know that the emulsifiers that we get in processed food can actually be disruptive to the gut flora. It can cause dysbiosis. It can cause toxicity to some of the gut bacteria, as can artificial sweeteners as well. So they're really, it's the additives in processed food that are particularly damaging. We also know things like processed meat can be carcinogenic as well. Great news that Kelly's got some great results with purity. Fantastic. We just had somebody reorder a large order of purity because they've had a fantastic result with their daughter's eczema. It's actually completely cleared. And I'm not saying that it's going to clear everybody's eczema, because eczema has different triggers, but it's a fantastic result, and something for you to share with your clients as well, particularly if they've got skin conditions. So getting back to the nutrients, we really passionately believe that nutrients should be as pure and as natural as possible. The reason being, the way that the body works, we need nutrients for biochemical reactions within the body. So if you isolate the nutrient via a synthetic vitamin, you haven't got the bioactives that come with the nutrient as you would have it in food. One, for maximum absorption, but two, for helping with those biochemical pathways within the body. Therefore, you're not going to get such a beneficial result. So we really are passionate that you get your nutrients as naturally as possible via whole foods, to ensure that the nutrients are provided as Mother Nature intended, with the cofactors, with the bioactives. This is something that the concept of nutrigenomics is all about. So at Vitasol, we're all about nutrigenomics, which is a really exciting new area of research in nutrition. I strongly believe that within 10 to 20 years, we're going to be all about the nutrigenomics. But at the moment, nutrigenomics is really conflicting with, I guess, the medical industry and with the synthetic vitamin industry, which is a massive industry. And so it's going to be very hard to convince people to put away their vitamin C tablets and follow the concept of nutrigenomics. But as more and more studies on this are coming out, I think within about 10 years, people will start to turn towards natural nutrition. So just to explain to you what nutrigenomics is, basically it's what I've just said it is, in the fact that it's using the nutrients from whole foods with their bioactive components to actively switch on or off genes. That's really as simple as it is. We now know that nutrients will actually affect genes within our body to switch them on or switch them off. So we obviously know that if we eat a poor diet, low in nutrients, high in processed food, it can affect perhaps the genes that we don't want switched on. And again, if we eat a diet that is rich in nutrients, rich in polyphenols, rich in certain bioactive compounds, and I'm not necessarily talking about specific vitamins and nutrients, I'm talking about compounds such as compounds found in things like polyphenols, flavonoids, etc., that can actually switch on or off genes, which will have an effect on certain genetic pathways. So to give you an example of some of the recent research on nutrigenomics, recently researchers identified certain processes in the body to be very efficient at stimulating our body's own natural mechanisms for creating antioxidants. So this is a process called NRF2 activation. And we know that these bioactives in specific foods activate the NRF2 pathway. Now this NRF2 pathway will activate over 500 different genes to either switch on genes that will be anti-inflammatory, or switch on genes that will actually help to clear out the cells, if you like, to protect the DNA in the cells, almost a form of detoxification of the cells, or encourage the cells to produce their own antioxidants. So we know that the body will produce antioxidants such as SOD, SOD basically. It's probably, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Also, these free radicals that we can produce, superoxide dismutase, thank you, I just remembered. These are the ones that we can produce naturally within the body, and a lot of you may actually already use these in your topical skincare. Now, we can also eat food that contains antioxidants, and we know that certain vitamins work as antioxidants. Some also work as anti-inflammatories within the body. The more of these that we can get into the body, and the more that our body produces its own antioxidants, the more it actually helps to protect the cells from damage to the DNA, which we know can lead to premature aging, disease, even things like cancer. So we know that eating healthy is going to be really beneficial, but now the science is actually really backing that up to show how these genes are actually switched on and off by specific foods. Now at Vitasol, all of our ingredients are natural. They're from natural sources. They're all organic. And we have ingredients that are these common NRF2 activators. We've got them in turmeric, in green tea, in grapes and sea buckthorn, in milk thistle, in our cruciferous veggies, in broccoli, in vitamin D, and these are throughout our products, particularly in Purity and Infinity. We've also got the ingredients that are going to downregulate the inflammatory pathways to reduce inflammation within the skin. And we know that inflammation is going to be a big trigger for inflammatory skin disorders, and of course premature aging as well, which a lot of people forget about. So we want to also include these ingredients to downregulate the pro-inflammatory pathways, and also your nutrients that are going to be building blocks for things like collagen, elastin, the GAGs, hyaluronic acid within the skin, and support the natural immune function of the skin as well. So basically what we've always said, but this is what we're calling nutrigenomics, and more science is going into this now and finding out what the different foods and what the different genetics are affected by that. So it's a really, really exciting new area and something that we're really passionate about. And of course, we know that gut health is key as well, which is why we support gut health via the prebiotics, via supporting the enterocytes within the cells as well. In a couple of months, we will actually be taking all of the Vitasol training online, and we'll have separate modules, so that we will have a module on gut and liver support as well. So that's going to be a little bit more in depth for you. So hopefully that's something that's going to be very valuable for you and your team as well. So nutrigenomics, natural nutrition. Think of getting your nutrients as naturally as possible. And the best way I like to liken it is, if you take your nutrition through whole foods, and that is what Vitasol is. It's whole food that's basically concentrated food dehydrated. If we take our nutrition in that way, basically all of the biochemical pathways can work, because we're not isolating specific high-dose synthetic vitamins. So think of it like playing a game of snooker. You have the white ball, you hit the white ball with your snooker cue, and all the other balls go down the holes exactly where they should go, all beautifully. That's how we work. But when we look at synthetic vitamins, we are isolating a nutrient and taking it in a much higher dose than what is found in nature. So just to clarify, the recommended daily intake of nutrients is actually quite low, what we recommend to get through food, compared to what you will see recommended for synthetic vitamins. It can be hundreds, sometimes if not thousands of times higher. So not only are we taking a vitamin out of its natural environment, we are making it much, much stronger, and we are making it in a synthetic form, so not as the form that nature intended. It also means that when you take a synthetic vitamin, the body has to convert it, usually via enzyme reactions. And guess what we need for the enzyme reactions? We need more nutrients, things like zinc. And a lot of synthetic vitamins have, they can have animal derivatives in them, things like vitamin D that's made from sheep sebum. That can be an issue if you're a vegan. Also, they can have petroleum byproducts in them. They can have excipients which are not listed on the packaging. So at Vitasol, we list absolutely every ingredient on the packaging. We do not hide anything from you. We don't package something up into a specialized complex so that we don't give you the ingredient within the complex. Every single thing is listed on the back of the Vitasol packaging. So with synthetic vitamins, the excipients don't necessarily have to be listed. They are listed with the TGA, and the TGA records everything. But on the package, you wouldn't necessarily know if there was an artificial color in there. You wouldn't know if there was a petroleum byproduct in there. You wouldn't know if there was talc in there, which can be added as a filler. You don't know what the fillers and the binders are necessarily in there. Some companies will disclose excipients, but usually you have to contact the company and ask for that information. It's not something that would most people would actually list on the packaging unless they were a very natural company, but then they wouldn't be producing synthetic vitamins. So it's a very complex world out there. So synthetic vitamins are man-made. They come in a much stronger form. And the problem with that is that you can have toxicity issues. So any fat-soluble vitamin, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin E can have toxicity issues when taken in high amounts. We've seen toxicity issues with things such as calcium supplements, things like kidney stones, things like higher risk of stroke, because it's not in its natural bioavailable form, which means it's actually quite hard to absorb. And even things that you may think are relatively safe, like vitamin C. Vitamin C is synthetic. And again, it is an isolated nutrient. So when we take vitamin C, there can be side effects with taking vitamin C. So even at 1,000 milligram dosages, vitamin C has been shown to have side effects. Certain antioxidants, vitamin C being one, in a synthetic form in an isolated supplement, I'm not talking about naturally as found in food, can turn into a pro-oxidant. So rather than have an antioxidant function within the body, vitamin C can actually have the opposite effect. And it's actually been shown in some studies to overrule the NRF2 pathway. So if you're activating your natural NRF2 pathway to stimulate your body's own natural antioxidants, studies have shown something like sulforaphane, which comes from broccoli, to be very, very powerful at stimulating the NRF2 pathway to actually protect your cells and to produce your own antioxidants. But when taken vitamin C synthetically with that, the vitamin C overrules that pathway, and therefore you don't get the benefits. So it has a counterproductive effect, which to me makes perfect sense, because just like I was saying about the snooker cue, with natural nutrition, getting it through foods, if you knock the white ball and you're going to get all the balls down the hole, but with, say, taking synthetic vitamin C as an example, you hit the white ball and you hit that down the hole, but all the other balls don't go down. And that's exactly the analogy I just gave with the NRF2 pathway being overruled by taking synthetic vitamin C with it. So my point here is Be very careful when recommending synthetic vitamins to your clients. I personally don't think people should be recommending synthetic vitamins unless they have a clinical proven nutritional deficiency and they need to take a synthetic vitamin for a specific period of time to correct that nutritional deficiency. That being said, if somebody isn't getting enough nutrients via their food, just changing the diet, increasing the nutrients with whole foods such as the infinity, the purity, and the flexibility, you will see a dramatic improvement in the condition of the skin, the health of the gut, and you shouldn't have to take synthetic vitamins. Sorry about my dog, everyone. I'm being a guard dog this morning. And so a question that we get a lot is, can you take vitamin supplements with Vitasol? The whole point of Vitasol and part of our mission is to try and get people off synthetic vitamins and to get their nutrition as naturally as possible, because we know that affects the genes in the right way and it affects the biochemical pathways in the right way. We know that taking synthetic vitamins may not. So my goal and our mission at Vitasol is to educate people about nutrition and healthy eating and to try and get them off synthetic vitamins. So ideally, no, they shouldn't need to take synthetic vitamins unless those vitamins have been prescribed for a specific deficiency that has been proven. It's really important to clarify that, because if somebody has got a reason for taking a vitamin, then that is when we have to stay within scope of practice and we can't tell people to stop taking things. But the premise of Vitasol is so that they don't need to take any synthetic supplements with that. Particularly things like calcium or magnesium. If somebody is taking flexibility, for instance, that's a really good source of calcium, very good source of magnesium as well. There's no reason to have to take an additional supplement. And I would say also, if somebody is conscious of trying to get enough calcium in the diet and magnesium, hopefully they are having enough fruit and veggies as well. You're going to get magnesium also in infinity and also in purity. No, you won't overdose on nutrients by mixing the Vitasol together because it's whole foods. But if you start upping massively the intake with synthetic vitamins, that is when it is a concern for me. And it's not something that they necessarily would need to do. And it would be something that I would be very cautious of. So just to be aware of that. With the synthetic vitamins, I mean, just recently, last year, there was information about synthetic vitamins to say that they're more likely to have a negative effect long-term on health and may even shorten lifespan. And these are all studies that you can all easily Google to say that synthetic nutrients may be harmful. Just recently from Sydney Uni this year, there was something about individual amino acids and taking individual amino acids, particularly things like branch chain amino acids on their own, and that again may be very detrimental to health. Now, it makes absolute sense to me. If you take something in isolation and basically overdose on it, it is going to start to knock out those biochemical pathways and start to have a negative effect. But for some reason, we haven't caught up yet in mainstream vitamins and supplements, and I don't think it will, because obviously it's going to kill a massive industry. But it is something that we really need to be aware of. Whilst we're talking about synthetic supplements, something I wanted to bring to your attention as well, any of you that have got gut issues, because we're seeing a lot of supplements now coming out to treat leaky gut. And just to clarify with leaky gut, I really don't like that word because it's kind of technically incorrect. A better word is increased gut permeability. I will do a whole area or segment on this, but quite often a naturopath or nutritionist will recommend a supplement called L-glutamine for treating leaky gut, and that's because glutamine is a fuel source for the enterocytes of the small intestine, and that is why then sometimes it's recommended to actually help cellular health. Glutamine is one of the most abundant amino acids within the body. The body can produce it, and you should really be getting enough via the diet, providing you're having a balanced, healthy diet. It can be from a number of different sources, such as cabbage actually is one of the best sources of glutamine. Cabbage juice is one of the most healing things you can do for your gut. Also things such as legumes. And you can get glutamine naturally through the diet. It's also present within the VitaCell products. You can find it particularly within the Purity through our sprout blend, and also through cruciferous vegetables in its natural source, in its most gentle way. Now, the problem I have with L-glutamine supplements is that the glutamine is then taken in a much, much higher dose in a synthetic isolated form. And when you start to take it in very large amounts like this, I really don't think there's a need to. And the side effects of this is glutamine, especially in large amounts in synthetic form, is a fuel not only for the enterocyte cells of the small intestine, but it's a major fuel for tumor cells as well. So if anyone has got cancer or is prone to cancer, and how do you know if you're prone to cancer, then they really shouldn't take L-glutamine supplements. Plus, L-glutamine supplements on some people that are prone to anxiety and panic attacks, it can actually make it worse, because it affects the neurotransmitters, or can affect the neurotransmitters in the brain. And so that is why I'm actually not fond of the isolated supplements, particularly things like the amino acid glutamine. So our products do have amino acids, but they're all naturally available as you would find them in food, not in isolated forms and not in very high doses to knock out those biochemical pathways and to have adverse effects. So we're all about supporting the nutrigenomics for your body to do the work itself, rather than overrule those pathways and have negative side effects. I hope I'm making sense to people. Please let me know if I'm not, or if you have any specific questions. So just to clarify, we don't recommend synthetic vitamins unless there is a medical reason to do so. Medical reason would be a clinical deficiency that has been diagnosed via a blood test. I did hear something online the other day. It was at a training, and I'm not about putting down other brands, but it was technically incorrect, and it concerns me when people are being taught the wrong information. It was something about the RDI of zinc being 25 milligrams a day, which is incorrect. That's way too high. And that when people are deficient, they should take 1 milligram for every milligram of body weight. Again, not correct. And how do you know if someone's deficient without having a blood test? And how would you work that out in a clinical setting if you're not a qualified nutritionist? So just please be aware of that kind of information, because if you give somebody zinc in a clinical practice that you don't know whether they should be taking that much zinc, you can knock out copper. You can actually lower the immune system. If somebody's got autoimmune issues, it can be an issue. Zinc, again, people with neurotransmitter issues, it should actually help to calm people down, but on some people it can actually affect the methylation cycle and trigger anxiety. So there's a lot of different things you have to be aware of when you're prescribing high dose synthetic vitamins. They are going to have knockout effects, and if you don't know what the side effects are, you can run into problems. Same with fish oil as well. Relatively safe supplement to recommend. But if somebody's on blood thinners, has got bleeding issues, if someone's pre-op, that's when you wouldn't recommend fish oil. And again, if somebody's got really low blood pressure or have got certain conditions such as pyrrole disorder, again, it can be an issue and it can cause things like dizziness and fainting. So again, you really need to know what you're dealing with when you are recommending excessively high doses of supplements. We do have essential fats in our products, but we still would say you really should be getting at least 2 to 3 thirds of oily fish as well, to really make sure you're getting enough of your essential fatty acids in the diet. We are thinking about potentially bringing out an essential fatty acid supplement because there does seem to be a demand out there by you all, but that's something that we're looking into at the moment. So please share your thoughts and feedback on that if that is something that you are interested in. Of course, we would provide all the necessary training with that, because you know that we're all about the training at Vitasol. So in a nutshell, the studies show time and time again the healthiest way to get your nutrients, the healthiest way to protect against disease, the healthiest way to support longevity is getting your nutrients as naturally as possible through whole foods. We know that synthetic vitamins, there may be a certain place for them if someone is specifically deficient. Vitamin D deficiency, for instance, if you are deficient in vitamin D, you have had your levels checked and your levels are at about 30, then you would need supplementation temporarily to get your levels back up. But it's not something that you should necessarily be taking all the time because there can be toxicity issues. So there is a place, but we know that long-term high-dose synthetic vitamins are likely to cause more long-term damage than beneficial benefits to health. Also, if you are not a qualified nutritionist or naturopath, recommending high-dose synthetic nutrients to your clients could have potential side effects. And I know some of you have told me of stories that you've come across within clinic of clients having issues. So please do be aware of that, because it is something that we need to make sure clients are as safe as possible, but also as practitioners, you are as safe as possible. So that is why we're all about recommending whole foods, food-based products to get nutrients as naturally as possible. Just checking any questions here. Kelly said that great results with, I'm good with purity now. That's fantastic that you can take that because you had gut issues, and I don't want to share your gut issues with everybody, but I won't go into detail, but that's really fabulous news. Something else that's really interesting, and just talking about SIBO as well, because a lot of different practitioners have a lot of different, practices, if you like. SIBO is a condition called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, when we get bacteria in large amounts in the small intestine where it shouldn't be. It could be our good bacteria, not necessarily bad bacteria, but it's growing or populating in the wrong area. That can happen for a number of different reasons. And in order to effectively treat it, you've got to get to the root of why that's happening. And it might be all sorts of things. It might be stomach acid. It may be there was an infection in the past. There may be bad case of food poisoning, all sorts of things. So you need to understand what's causing the SIBO. But one of the side effects of it can be bloating and gas and things like that. And that is when we say if someone has got SIBO, half the dose of Infinity and Purity, either or, they might be taking both or they might be taking one, because they may react quite strongly to the prebiotic, which is helping with your gut flora, but obviously it's helping it in the wrong area as well. Saying that, Some people actually treat SIBO by killing out all the bacteria, and everyone's got different practices. But my thoughts on that is, if you kill off bacteria, you're going to kill off the good bacteria. And usually what will happen is the strongest strains will linger, and that's usually the bad strains. So if you kill everything off and then have got lingering bad strains, you're going to outnumber them, or they're going to outnumber the good, and you can create even more of a problem. So saying that, and I think in a way Kelly has just sort of confirmed that if we treat the gut as naturally as possible by providing the fuel and the right nutrition for the enterocyte cells, the vitamins, minerals, the amino acids, and the prebiotics, we're going to have healthy gut cells. It's going to help to heal leaky gut. When the gut cells are working effectively, they actually will act as antimicrobial. They'll produce antimicrobial peptides anyway to help regulate the bad bacteria. And it will actually help to naturally balance itself. It will take a while, but it's the most natural way to do it. And at Vitasol, we're about doing it all as naturally as possible, and basically doing it as Mother Nature intended, rather than popping pills, knocking things out and knocking out biochemical pathways and killing everything off, because there's always a side effect to doing that. So thank you for sharing your feedback, Kelly. That's really great news to hear that. So just to clarify what we're saying today, Vitasol, we're recommending natural nutrition. We're getting the nutrients as nature intended, in the amounts that nature intended, to help to stimulate your own natural chemical pathways, to help with gene expression so that your body is able to produce its own antioxidants. So it's keeping the body and the skin in optimum health and as healthy as possible. So we do believe in the concept of nutrigenomics, which is using nutrients and their bioactive compounds, the bioactive compounds that are not available in synthetic vitamins, that turn on or off specific genes. And these genes are what are important in metabolic and physical health. We're about supporting the gut. We're about supporting and protecting DNA to protect the cells from damage, disease, and premature aging. And we're also about reducing inflammation within the body. We have been getting some fantastic feedback on gut, on skin, on rosacea. The Infinity in particular, for those clients that you have that have got rosacea or redness in the skin, we've been getting fabulous results because it's treating the gut and it's treating the redness in the capillaries with the bioflavonoids. And ideally for rosacea, we would say mix Infinity and the Purity together. But I just wanted to share that feedback with you. And also on hair and nails in particular with flexibility, and that's because of the minerals in there as well. Just with flexibility, because we're coming into winter, it's a really good one to recommend to your clients. They can have it with cold milk, with warm milk, however they want to have it. It's a mineral rich formula. We've got amino acids in there, also vitamin C, all natural. It's not synthetic vitamin C, it's coming from its natural source. So we've got the nutrients for collagen production as well. So if you're looking for something as a collagen product, the flexibility is it. It's also fantastic for pain, for joints. And again, we're getting amazing feedback for people with rheumatoid arthritis and joint pain. So I know that's going with over or out of the scope of practice with skin health, but if any of you do have anything like that, then it's just something my little tip for you, that it's particularly good to take during winter, because that sometimes people can get more joint problems then. And also it's got the vitamin D from fortified mushrooms in there as well. So a good thing to be getting in the winter months as well, because ultimately that would be supporting immune health too. So make sure you're taking your Vitasol every single day. I do tell people that you don't need to refrigerate it. I know on the packaging we say refrigerate it, but it's really only if you live in somewhere like Darwin or extreme heat temperature. And because we're coming into winter as well, make sure keep it out on the side and have it out by your water in the morning. So have it by the sink so that you can take it first thing in the morning so that you don't forget, so that you get into a routine. And please make sure you tell your clients to take it every single day, because you need to take it every single day to get the results. They just put it in the fridge and take it now and again, they're not going to see the results. So every day is what you need to do to get that variety of nutrition and to really support gut health. So just checking now for some more comments. Here we go, just scrolling down. EFAs, yes please, yay, okay, all right, we're looking into that. And let me tell you what we've got planned with the EFAs. There is nothing like it on the market. So I'm very excited. And of course, we will be the purest and the most potent and the cleanest. So yeah, very excited about that. So watch this space. Just put through any comments if you've got any question. Oh, Amy, you've been getting great results with your eczema too. That's fantastic. Very pleased to see that. And I hope I did answer your question. 1 heaped teaspoon or 2 small ones of each with that. Please let us know what other topics you would like us to cover for Facebook Lives. As I said, we're going to have all the training in modules. We'll do one on nutrigenomics, we'll do one on gut and liver, on the individual products as well, in depth on the contraindications. So that will all be coming to you, should be up and running by August. So that's very, very exciting. Any particular topics, let us know, and any particular feedback about the products, we would also really love to hear, or even any before and afters with your clients. We're trying to collect those as we speak. So if you have them, please let us know. And don't forget to share your wins. Send us pictures of your shelfies of Vitasol in the Facebook group, and tag us on Instagram, because if you tag us, particularly in the story, if you tag, we can then re-tag in the story and we can give you a shout out as well. If you tag my personal page, I've got more followers on there, I can also tag you on that too. So happy to share the love and support you and give you as much exposure as we can, because we're at Vitasol, we're all about supporting each other and making you all as successful as possible. So any more questions? Thank you, Sam. Big squishy hugs back to you all too. Will you get a range of teas? Now, funny you say that, Amy, because I was having this conversation at the weekend. I like the idea of teas. I was speaking to Dave and he wasn't so keen, didn't understand them. But I drink herbal tea all the time and I love it. So again, if you think that is something that you would be able to retail in the clinic and that you think it is something that is required, then that's definitely something that we could look into, some beautiful organic teas. So the feedback we need from you, and if that is there, then it's definitely something we can look into. So let me know, write a comment, quick. But as I said, the EFA is something we're looking into. So again, anything else that you think, we will not bring out, and I refuse to bring out a product that is trending or doesn't have a benefit, or just because collagen is the rage. We're not going to bring out a collagen product because you get the results, you've got the nutrients that are necessary for collagen production with the flexibility. With a collagen powder, you don't have the cofactors and nutrients, you just get the amino acids. So you still need to be getting your nutrients via your diet to produce collagen. It's just a trending thing at the moment, and collagen is actually very good for gut health. I would say it's more important or more beneficial for gut health than it is for collagen in the skin, because you still need the nutrients to produce collagen, which is what you're going to get a better result from the flexibility. So I don't see a need for a collagen powder, and that's why we don't have one. But again, we won't bring out something just for a marketing thing. It's really got to be a product that I, hand on heart, know works and is something that is needed. So we love your feedback. So please share that with us. So that will conclude for today. Remember, natural nutrition is best. Better bioavailability. You have the bioactives. Think of it like the snooker cue, hitting all the balls down the right holes to get maximum results for your clients, as opposed to synthetic vitamins that can have long-term side effects and more detrimental effects, because they're just hitting one ball down a hole, not all of them. So it's going to knock other things out. And as we know, it knocks out other nutrients as well. So I hope today has been helpful for you. Wishing you all a wonderful Monday and start to the week. Please write in and tell us how you're going on the Facebook group, and we'll be doing another Facebook Live soon. Any particular topics, please let me know, and look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thank you, everybody.